The robots are coming for your job. And this isn't a sci-fi movie, it's real life. Factories are going dark. Machines don't need lunch breaks, salaries, or sleep. They just keep working. By 2030, automation could displace hundreds of millions of jobs. But this isn't a distant future, it's happening right now. Factories are shutting down. Towns are collapsing. The question is, can we stop it? Or are we asking the wrong question? How do we make AI work for us instead of against us? Welcome to Cashkeys, where we break down the biggest financial and economic trends that shape your future. If you're wondering why factory jobs are making a comeback and whether it even makes sense in an AI-driven world, stick around, because what you're about to learn might change the way you think about the future of work. Some say automation will create more jobs. Others say it will destroy them. Where do you stand? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your perspective. 1. Is technology really killing jobs? Automation isn't new. Since the Industrial Revolution, machines have been replacing human jobs over and over again. But there's a crucial difference. In the past, technology didn't eliminate workers, it made them more efficient. Now, AI and robotics aren't just enhancing human labor, they're replacing it entirely. Think about this. Over the last 40 years, the number of people actually making things for a living has dropped by over a third. Even as the workforce has grown by 50%. More people, but fewer jobs in production. Take the automotive industry. Decades ago, factories were packed with workers assembling cars by hand. Today, robotic arms handle nearly every step of production with microscopic precision. Tesla's gigafactories run almost entirely on automation, where AI and robotics dominate the assembly line. Toyota's AI-driven quality control eliminates human error before it even happens, making the process faster, cheaper, and more precise. And it's not just cars. Across every major industry, automation is cutting out human labor. Manufacturing, logistics, even customer service. Machines are replacing people at a rate we've never seen before. So, is technology really killing jobs, or just shifting them? Some argue that while factory jobs disappear, new roles emerge. AI programmers, robotics engineers, data analysts, new jobs, new industries. But here's the problem. The workers being replaced aren't the ones getting these new jobs. A factory worker with 20 years of experience can't simply switch to coding overnight. And most companies aren't retraining workers, they're just replacing them. So what do you think? Do you believe companies have a responsibility to retrain workers, or should people adapt on their own? Let me know in the comments. Even worse, while automation creates enormous wealth, that wealth isn't going to the workers who lost their jobs. It's flowing into the pockets of corporations, investors, and tech giants. And this is just the beginning. Because the next phase of automation is already here. The rise of the dark factories. 2 dark factories, when machines take over. Imagine stepping into a massive factory. But there's no sound of workers, no supervisors walking around, no lunch breaks. In fact, there aren't even any lights on. The entire place is dark because there are no humans inside. Machines don't need light. They don't need breaks. They don't make mistakes. And they never stop working. This isn't some dystopian sci-fi movie. It's happening right now. Dark factories, fully automated workplaces that run without human labor, already exist in China, Japan, and Germany. These factories operate 24/7, with minimal human supervision. And they're only becoming more common. Take Dongguan, China, for example. A factory that once had 650 workers now operates with just 60, thanks to automation. The result? A 250% increase in production efficiency and a 30% drop in errors. For businesses, that's a dream. Faster production, fewer mistakes, lower costs. For the workers who were replaced, a nightmare. Many never found stable jobs again. Some had to take lower-paying service jobs. Others struggled to retrain for careers they never planned for. And this isn't just happening in Asia. In Europe, billions are being poured into AI-driven manufacturing. Germany, a country known for precision engineering, is leading the charge in autonomous production lines. In the US, companies like Amazon and Tesla are designing factories and warehouses that minimize human involvement. If this trend continues, what happens to factory workers? What happens to entire towns built around manufacturing jobs? Are we heading toward a future where blue-collar work simply disappears? If you lost your job to automation tomorrow, how would you adapt? Do you think companies should take more responsibility? Let me know in the comments. 3. The new jobs AI is creating, but are they accessible? It's easy to think that automation is just a job killer. But history tells us that every technological revolution destroys old jobs while creating new ones. The Industrial Revolution replaced artisans with factory workers. The rise of computers eliminated some roles but gave birth to software engineers, IT specialists, and digital marketers. And today, AI is no different. AI engineers, robotics technicians, automation specialists, these roles are booming. The World Economic Forum predicts that AI will create 97 million new jobs by 2025. That sounds like a win, right? Well, not exactly. Here's the problem. Most of these jobs require advanced skills that factory workers don't have. A 50-year-old assembly line worker, laid off due to automation, isn't going to suddenly become a machine learning engineer. Learning to operate and maintain AI-driven systems takes years of training. And for many workers, that transition is incredibly difficult, if not impossible. Take the case of David Mitchell, a factory worker in Michigan. For over 2 decades, he worked in auto manufacturing. When automation replaced his role, he tried to retrain as an industrial robotics technician. But after just 6 months, he realized the math and programming skills required were far beyond what he had ever learned. The training program cost $12,000, required 2 years of study, and had no guarantee of employment at the end. He simply couldn't afford it. And this is the core issue. While AI is creating jobs, it's not necessarily creating accessible jobs. The people losing their roles to automation are often the least equipped to transition into new high-tech careers. Training programs exist, but they require time, money, and resources that many unemployed workers simply don't have. How can we bridge the gap? So, if automation isn't slowing down, how do we make sure workers aren't left behind? Some governments and companies are investing in reskilling programs. Germany, for example, has a strong apprenticeship system that helps workers transition into new careers before automation makes their old roles obsolete. In Singapore, the government offers subsidies for mid-career professionals to upskill in AI and robotics. Even in the US, tech companies like Google and Amazon have started workforce training initiatives. But are they enough? One proposed solution is Universal Basic Income, or UBI, giving displaced workers a financial cushion while they retrain. But that idea is controversial. Others suggest taxing AI and automation to fund worker retraining programs. Would that work, or would it just slow down innovation? And what about businesses? Should companies be responsible for reskilling their own workers instead of just replacing them? Some argue that corporations benefiting from automation should be required to reinvest in human capital. After all, if automation increases profits, shouldn't some of those gains go back into helping workers transition? Do you think AI should be taxed to fund worker retraining programs? Or should companies handle this themselves? Let me know in the comments. One thing is clear. The future of work is changing. The question is, will we change with it? 4. Why are we romanticizing factory jobs? Not too long ago, blue-collar jobs were seen as inferior to white-collar office work. People wanted careers in air-conditioned buildings, sitting at desks, working on computers, not spending hours on factory floors, covered in grease and sweat. But something has changed. People are starting to look back at manufacturing jobs with nostalgia. The question is, why? One major reason is simple. Factory jobs, despite being physically demanding, actually paid well. In the 1970s and 80s, a single factory worker could afford to own a home, raise a family on one income, and retire with a pension. Health insurance and job security were standard. Compare that to today, where even college graduates struggle to afford rent, drown in student loan debt, and hop between unstable jobs in the gig economy. Take Mike Harrison, for example. In the 1980s, he worked at a steel plant in Pennsylvania. By the time he turned 30, he owned a house, had 2 kids, and was planning for retirement. Fast forward to today, his son Jake has a college degree but is stuck working 3 part-time jobs just to afford rent. No health benefits, no pension, no financial security. And Mike's story isn't unique. A report from the Economic Policy Institute found that between 1979 and today, the wages of factory workers, adjusted for inflation, have remained nearly stagnant, while CEO salaries have skyrocketed over 940%. The middle class, which was once built on manufacturing jobs, is now struggling to keep up. So, it's no surprise that people are yearning for what factory jobs used to offer: stability, security, and real financial independence. But here's the problem. Bringing them back the way they once existed is nearly impossible. Automation has made factories more productive than ever with fewer workers. Outsourcing has pushed manufacturing to countries where labor is cheaper. And government incentives, while promising, can only do so much to reverse decades of decline. The reality is, factory jobs today aren't the same as they were 40 years ago. The question is, are we chasing a dream that no longer exists? 5. Fighting automation, a losing battle? Governments around the world are spending billions trying to revive manufacturing. Tariffs, subsidies, and massive incentives, all aimed at bringing factory jobs back. But here's the uncomfortable truth. No matter how much we invest, automation isn't slowing down. It's accelerating. Take the semiconductor industry, for example. The US government is pouring $52 billion into bringing chip manufacturing back home under the CHIPS Act. Sounds like a huge win for American workers, right? Not exactly. These new plants aren't going to look like the old factories of the past. They'll rely almost entirely on automation. The jobs they create, mostly for highly skilled engineers, robotic specialists, and semiconductor technicians, not traditional factory line workers. And this trend isn't limited to semiconductors. Across industries, factories are being built with efficiency, cost reduction, and automation in mind. The auto industry, for example, is seeing a surge in automated production. Tesla's gigafactories are a prime example. These massive facilities rely on robotic arms, AI-driven quality control, and autonomous transport systems to produce cars at unprecedented speeds. What used to take hundreds of human workers is now done with a fraction of that workforce. Even outside of manufacturing, automation is creeping into unexpected places. Fast food chains like McDonald's and Chipotle are rolling out AI-powered order-taking systems and robotic kitchens. Amazon is testing cashierless stores that use cameras and AI to track purchases, eliminating the need for checkout clerks. The harsh reality is that no amount of government policy can stop technological progress. At best, policies can slow down automation temporarily. But history shows us that technology always wins. In the early 1900s, Luddites, a group of English textile workers, tried to destroy industrial machines because they feared losing their jobs. Did it work? No. Industrialization continued, and new jobs emerged in different sectors. So instead of asking, how do we stop automation, we need to be asking a different question. How do we prepare for it? Because whether we like it or not, automation is here to stay. 6. How AI can be a tool, not a threat. So instead of fighting automation, what if we learn to work with it? AI doesn't have to replace humans. It can enhance our work. Enter cobots, short for collaborative robots. These aren't like the giant industrial robots that replace human jobs. Cobots are designed to assist workers, taking on repetitive tasks so humans can focus on problem solving, creativity, and high-level decision-making. Take BMW's factories, for example. They use AI-powered robotic arms to handle tasks like welding and heavy lifting, reducing strain on human workers. But humans are still essential. They oversee quality control, make design improvements, and manage the overall process. The result? Higher productivity, safer work conditions, and more innovation. Another example? The healthcare industry. AI isn't replacing doctors, it's helping them. In hospitals, AI-driven diagnostic tools are improving cancer detection rates by analyzing scans more accurately than human doctors alone. Surgeons are using robot-assisted technology for precise, minimally invasive procedures. Instead of replacing skilled professionals, AI is making them even better at their jobs. But for this model to work, we need the right policies and incentives. Governments and businesses need to rethink how they approach workforce training. That means investing in reskilling programs, offering tax incentives for companies that retrain workers instead of replacing them, and modernizing education to prepare students for an AI-driven economy. Because if we do this right, AI won't be something to fear. It'll be something that makes all of us more productive, more efficient, and ultimately more successful. So are we bringing back factory jobs, or are we just chasing nostalgia? One thing is clear. The future of work isn't about stopping automation. It's about learning to thrive alongside it. What do you think? Will automation destroy more jobs than it creates? Or is there a way for humans and AI to coexist in the workforce? Drop a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you want to understand more about how money, work, and technology are shaping our future, make sure to subscribe to Cashkeys. We break it all down for you every day. See you in the next one.